Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. I'm going to do a little video today explaining why I haven't done any videos and why everybody seems to be in withdrawals. But let's move on and I'll explain what's going on. Well, guys, this lack of videos all started out when I was a little kid and my mother dropped me on my head. No, it's not that at all. But seriously, really what it amounts to is I've just had a bad case of apathy, and I've had a lot of things going on, and we had the fair with the club layout here a week or so ago, and trying to organize all the people, get enough people to man the fair and that sort of thing, and trying to deal with some issues within the club and so forth. And the shop has been very busy, and thank you all for that. Just a number of things. I'm a NASCAR fan. Most of you guys know that. I've been watching a lot of NASCAR, rooting for my guy, and like today. And it's just been numerous things. Nothing in particular. It's just when I get some free time, I just feel like resting a little bit. As some of you know, or maybe not know, and not that it matters to anybody, but I'm just trying to explain what's been going on. But we sold our motorhome. Trying to make that decision was kind of a big one for us. We did get rid of it. We got rid of our tow vehicle as well, and we also bought another vehicle. We have a newer Honda Odyssey that we bought, and that we can still travel in. That being said, those are just things that have occupied my mind. I'm a very focused person, so when I get it in my head that we're going to do these certain things, I don't rest until they're done. All that stuff has occupied a lot of my time. I had some problems with some materials I was using in here. I'm having some derailment issues even currently on the layout here that I can't get figured out. I have some Kato SD70s that just will not run around down on the bottom of my helix, and I don't know why only the SD70s. There's some kind of quirk there that I'm not aware of yet, but maybe I'll get it figured out, and if I do, maybe I'll pass that on. I've got a little issue up here on the top. Locomotives and things have been running fine on it. All of a sudden I'm having trouble with almost everything derailing right at the head end of my double crossover up on the top there. It's just these dumb little things, and I think this happens to everybody. These things get to you, and you let them get to you, and you just kind of don't want to deal with it for a while. And that's basically what's happened here. But like I said, I am fixing to get back into it, and I've got a couple of ideas and things that I want to test out, and Gavin's been on me about getting back to it, so let me just explain a couple of things and show you what I've been doing and what I'm thinking about doing, and things that I'm going to change a little bit here on the layout, and nothing major, no tearing out or anything. But anyway, I'm going to get to that here in just a second, and so let me move on to that before I get too carried away with the layout. Okay, getting back to the what I was going to say about making changes to the layout and so forth. There's a lot of guys on the forums and things like that that go through the same things that I go through, and there's guys that have done the same thing I have done, and I've done things that other guys have done. But what it amounts to is, and what I was going to say is, never be afraid to take something out and try something different. If you don't like the way something is, tear it out, do something different, because the variety that affords you actually has a tendency to keep you motivated. And while I have everything kind of the way I want it in here, right now these derailment issues are driving me crazy. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. But and then it was some issues with some plaster that I'll show you here in a minute that were driving me crazy, and I think I've figured out a way to work around that. It occurred to me finally that my control panel is virtually useless anymore now that I have the DS64s. So I'm going to probably rebuild the control panel with just a track diagram on it and an indication on the board as to what the turnout numbers is, even though I have the turnouts marked on the layout. So anyway, what I'm just wanting to highlight there was never be afraid to make changes on your layout. Don't be afraid of tearing something out. Don't think that people are going to think you're crazy if you want to start all over from scratch. I mean, you know, God knows that I've been there. It's always good to have changes. So anyway, I'm just trying to emphasize, and I have over and over. But anyway, don't be afraid to make changes on the layout. There's nothing wrong with that. Guys do it all the time, and it really kind of keeps your interest going. So let's move on to a couple of things I've got going here and what I plan on doing, and give you guys an idea of what's going on. Okay, guys, I had to get back into working on this thing a little bit. In the last video I did, I showed you, I think, that I had this container area done here, and all it lacks is a fence and an office. And Gavin built this little caboose office for me a while back, a couple weeks ago, and I thought, well, I'll throw it in here. So I added this plaster in, and I don't think it'll show up in the video. Maybe it will if I get the camera high enough. You can see that the cracking that took place once I put this stuff in. I put it in kind of thick, and maybe that has a lot to do with the cracking, but this cracking here is after a second coat, and the cracking was almost twice that bad on the initial coat that I put in. And this is gypsolite with some of the texture removed from the gypsolite with a strainer. The fact that it's doing that is not real impressive to me, and therefore kind of baffled me for a little while, although I think I'm going to coat this with some Woodland Scenics plaster of one type or another. I'm not sure what yet, but I'll get to figuring that out here in a little while. Now we're going to swing over here on the other end of this thing, and I'll give you a couple of ideas or things of what I'm going to do here. Okay, here we are down at the other end, and this building here is nothing new, but the fact that I put this plaster in along here, along the front edge, just to fill in the gap there is new. I'm having the same cracking issue with this stuff, and this is how badly it cracked with just the initial. I haven't done a second coat on here, but there was paper towel under this, and this stuff is only about 1/8 of an inch thick or a little bit thicker, and I just cannot understand why it's cracking so badly. But nevertheless, I like it because it has texture in it, but this cracking is just driving me crazy. I'm used to using plasters with some type of texture in them. I'm not real wild about hydrocal, and I don't know what I do like. I know I like the texture of this stuff here, but I don't like this cracking. So I'm going to have to find something in the middle, or put this stuff down first and then use something as a top coat on it. That's what's kind of hanging me back at the moment. Anyway, let's go on to the control panel here, and I'll talk real briefly about what I'm going to do here. Okay, guys, back to the control panel. Really, all these switches and stuff, and you can see the switches that I've removed. The only thing currently that this panel is good for is housing my short and no short lights, layout light there. And the rest of it is just stuff that I've drawn on there. That's the new part of the lower level staging and so forth, and the upper level switching area. So I'm going to try and incorporate all that stuff onto the new diagram, and then I'm going to try and figure out some way of actually numbering the turnouts on the diagram, and I haven't really come up with an idea there. I'm thinking of using a little flat piece of styrene glued to the top of the existing styrene, or the styrene I will be putting there, and then writing the number on it very small. I don't even know if it's really necessary. I've even contemplated taking the control panel all the way out and just rely on the turnout numbers that are on the layout. And in case everybody forgot, I use these guys, these little popsicle sticks with a number on them. And it seems to work real well. In fact, I find myself hardly ever looking at the control panel, so I may just take that off of there altogether and just extend the fascia across there. The only thing I was thinking is, if I keep the lights in there, I would cut some holes down in here, maybe 2, and that would give me a place to put my UP5 panels, or panel, I don't know if I need more than one, since it's radio. But anyway, put the UP5 panel in there, and maybe put the shrink this stuff down a little bit and put these throttle pockets in here and put the throttles right on the control panel. But I'm not real sure yet. Or maybe shrink the panel down and make places to put the throttles on either side and get them off of the fascia here. But that remains to be seen. I haven't really given that a whole lot of thought yet, but those were just a couple of quick ideas I had. Now let's move on to the other thing that I'm kind of contemplating doing here. Okay guys, the other thing that has kind of driven me a little bit crazy, and I'm sure all of you have similar things that drive you crazy on your layout from time to time, but I was making a conscious effort, and I think I've pointed this out in other videos, for Gavin and I to get car cards made for all of our cars. And Gavin's cars have this little blue mark in the upper right-hand corner. My cars do not. I was trying to impress on him to fill out the car cards, not only for the fact that we could use that for switching purposes out here, but also to keep an inventory on the equipment that he and I both own. And as you can imagine, both of us have way more stuff than we need, like maybe a lot of us. But nevertheless, I guess what it amounts to is he was very good about keeping track of his cars and making car cards for all of his new equipment and so forth. What he wasn't real keen on is using the car cards to actually do switching. He would rather that I give him just verbal commands to move cars from point A to point B and pick up car whatever and drop off car whatever. So that has worked well. And then the prospect came to my head that I have hundreds of cars, and I would have to make hundreds of waybills, and it was bad enough making all the car cards, and I can't even imagine sitting down and trying to create all these waybills. So what I'm trying to get to, or the point that I'm trying to get to, is that I think I'm going to wind up removing these boxes, the car card boxes, and just stick to moving cars around in a verbal fashion, because I do nothing but hit my head on them when I go underneath, and I rack my brain constantly trying to make sure that the cards stay in some order, and it's just complicated and hard to try and keep track of all these cars, taking them on and off the layout and moving them from point A to point B and keeping track of moving the cards and everything, especially when you're trying to teach someone else to do it and he's not really receptive to it. It's hard enough for myself, let alone trying to involve a grandson. And I'm not saying he's not capable, I'm just saying, like I said, that he and I, for that matter, really, we don't have the need for the cards. Once I got the cards all done, I thought, geez, the cards is a lot of work. And I just enjoy coming out here and messing with the trains and moving cars, and that's kind of what he does too. So anyways, enough of that. We're going to try and remove the car card system. The cards will, I have a drawer down here, and I don't think anybody's seen any of this stuff down here, not that it's important, and you especially don't need to see a duster down here. But my little flashlight for under the layout and so forth. But I have a car card box here, and I have the cars all sorted out by the type of car they are. And I think and these are all my cars, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and just gather up all the cards, sort them back into the correct piles for an inventory purpose, and leave it at that, and take these car card boxes off of here, clean up the fascia and stuff a little bit, and get back to running some trains, get back to the basic stuff instead of trying to worry about the stupid cards. I guess sometime if I ever go back to the cards, or maybe when he gets older and I get a little more mature, sometime when I get older, we might revert back to the cards. But I think for now we're just going to drop the whole card thing and get back to messing with the layout, which is what we were doing. So pretty much there's nothing new going on the layout. I do have some ideas or things that I want to do. One of the last things I was going to do was put up telephone poles and so forth, and string wire and stuff. I may get to that in the near future, especially in places like this where a lot of things are done. As you can see, the lumber yard, for instance, looks pretty good. But if you look real close or you stop and think about it, one thing it's missing is people. I realized that I have a lot of people standing around buildings and stuff, but I don't have people actually physically doing things. You know, there's people at every one of the houses, you know, sitting and working and at the gas station and stuff. But like this gas station, for instance, there's nobody milling around the gas station. There should be hot rodders milling around the gas station, okay? There should be, over here in the lumber yard, there should be numerous people working in the lumber yard. They should be walking all over the place. There should be customers. There should be people working at the oil facility down there. I do have some people at the used car lot there, but all in all, there really needs to be some more people doing stuff away from the buildings a little bit. You know, I've got a hiker on the mountain over here, and I've got some deer and stuff, but I need to start adding those little tiny touches, you know, the little tiny touches, and the telephone poles and things. That's one of the things that I am looking forward to doing. And I have numerous places where I need to do stuff. Speaking of needing to do stuff, my train just came around over here. It's been around for 2 laps and not derailed. Now it's derailed up here again. So anyway, this is one of the things that's driving me crazy. Hold on here. Let me see if I can get this guy back on before the whole system melts down. I don't know why he keeps coming off over here. But I'll get that one figured out. That's a no-brainer. But the one on the bottom of the helix down there with just the SD70s is driving me nuts. Anyways, to get back to the story at hand, I have all these structures like this that are not finished around the structures, and I need to get busy on that and just finish up the groundwork. I need to get back onto the back side of this guy. There's a lot of unfinished territory back there. Got the fencing put back up, but nothing around the bottom of the water tower. I need to fill this in with plaster, get the level of this back up, and put a road from there down to this area over here. I mean, there's just a whole lot of little things, and I guess that's what I need to concentrate on, is the small things. When I actually look at the layout, or people look at the layout, they think it's done, but it's these small things that are just that catch my eye every time I come in. So what I need to do is fix those things. Like this turnout was replaced, and I need to go back in and ballast. I mean, I guess when anybody looks at their layout, there's just little things that need to be done. So anyways, enough of that, and I guess I'll wrap this up. Well, guys, here's what's happening here right now. Sun is shining brightly, and it's pouring rain. Just started. I'm going to be in the train room a little longer, so it won't matter to me, but anyway, interesting. The Pfeiffer Hobbymobile. Well, guys, that's it. As you can see, it's just kind of burned out, and a lot of things going on, and I'm starting to think that I'm going to get back into it here, and in fact, I was going to today if it hadn't been for NASCAR getting in the way, but as you probably heard already, but anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys next time, and I'm looking for some ideas on some videos, and so if you have something, let me know, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.